So on Tuesday, I will be taking off this program, and our guest, Alex Marlowe here from Breitbart, will be filling in. Where will I be? Play cut 156.
We need to change the conversation. And that's why I'm launching a new podcast. And this is going to be anything but the ordinary politician podcast. I'm going to be talking to people directly that I disagree with, as well as people I look up to. But more important than anything else, I'll be talking directly with you, the listener. Real conversations. What's going on with the cost of eggs? What are the impacts, real impacts to you around tariffs? What power does an executive order really have? And what's really going on inside of Doge? Look, there's an onslaught of information that we take in. So let's take it to the sources without the typical political mumbo jumbo. In the first few weeks, we're going to be sitting down with some of the biggest leaders and architects in the MAGA movement. This is Gavin Newsom.
So Alex is a Californian. Alex, I want to get your take on Gavin's new podcast. And what advice would you have for me as I venture into that?
Well, first of all, I'm kind of surprised he's having you on, Charlie, because he is not a good debater, and you're not only a great debater, but you're a seasoned debater. You've been doing it nonstop for, it's got to be over a decade now. He is someone who's going to be very vulnerable to debate, and I would not necessarily debate him in a traditional sense because you're going to crush him and it might look weird. What I would love to see you do is actually probe his bad ideas, because he's got a couple of parlor tricks. He uses vocabulary to make it sound like he's incredibly informed on stuff. He'll use words that you don't even know. If you ask him to define the words, he doesn't know what they are. And he doesn't have a good track record. He tends to know where to show up in places and how to speak nicely to people who might disagree with him. But then he goes around and he's spending, $50 million right now trying to Trump-proof California. At the same time, he's asking for Trump to spend $40 billion on fire relief. He's never really explained why the reservoirs have run dry and why we prioritize the Delta smelt over the human populations when it comes to the fires in California. But the main thing I would do, Charlie, if I were you, is just ask him to fully flesh out his positions. And what you'll find is he'll be using these words that are just trying to impress people as if he's an expert. He's not an expert in anything other than being a politician.
You being a Californian, what would you say an average non-political Californian, if they had an opportunity to challenge Gavin Newsom in an unfiltered way, what would they say? What would they complain about? What would they question?
Yeah, so the first thing that we would ask is why was there nothing done to mitigate or prevent the fires? Why was everything such a mess? They didn't make one decision properly. They had used all the DEI to gut the fire departments. They had not updated. They hadn't built a dam in 40 years. Dam, D-A-M, not D-A-M-N. It is one of these things where there was nothing that had changed, and we had prioritized bait fish. We had prioritized salmon runs. And ask him why he thinks that he does not deserve any accountability, considering he's been a fixture in California politics for that long. That's number one. Number two, another thing is legal immigration. Is that this state has been completely changed by illegal immigration, not just electorally, but our school systems are unusable because of it. We're in immense amounts of debt. And he's never been held accountable, even though he's been an open borders guy forever. And the world's moved on. And I would love to hear him acknowledge, do you know the world's move on? Do you know people get it now that the open borders was a huge problem? I would love to hear his explanation to that as well. And then also, he squandered a golden opportunity in that we had a budget surplus for a while, and he just blew it. You should ask him what he did with all that money. What good came of all the money that he blew? It was so crazy that we had a surplus. I couldn't even believe it myself, and he wasted it. That was his ticket to have a chance of beating Trump, and I don't see how he could beat anyone in 2028, considering he blew all that, if we're able to make that case as a party.
Quickly, he's probably going to run to the middle and position himself more as a moderate. Yeah. I'm just kind of inferring based on that trailer. Do you think something like that could end up being successful? 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's a great thing that he has a feel for being able to do this. He has a feel for being able to find a centrist position, but just know he's governed as a pure leftist, and it won't take you very long to bone up on some of his key proponents that he's taken up over the years. But they are across the board left-wing Democrat, quote-unquote progressive politics without a single exception. He's never worked for a Republican or a moderate, which is why, again, I'm frankly surprised actually having you on, because he's terrible in these situations because he's not used to debating people who disagree with him completely.
I rarely disagree with Alex. I'll say I think he's smooth and slick. We'll see.
He's slick. He's definitely slick. We agree there.
He's very slick. Alex, you're the greatest, but you'll be here on Tuesday, and I
can't wait, Charlie.
will be elsewhere.